And welcome back. There are new developments in the feud between former co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Yeah, for more, we're joined by entertainment editor Peter Ford. Pete, what's happened overnight?
Boy, I tell you what, this story, I get confused sometimes by stories. This is one of them. I'm not sure if people are invested in this, if they're bored with this, but it's going to go on for a while. So now we have a trial date where finally this will all be sorted out. Now, for the last 6 weeks or so, we've heard claims, counterclaims, denials. Yesterday we heard the voicemail message that Justin left. So this all belongs in a courtroom, obviously. And so March 9, next year, not this year, next year. So we've got a whole 13 months yet where more stuff presumably will be leaked out, because this is as much a PR war that's going on, it's a power game that's going on. I don't know who to believe. I mean, we spoke at the end of the show yesterday, just as that voice message dropped, and even that seems to have people confused. Some people are saying, oh, it shows that he's respectful and he wants to create a good workspace. Other people are saying, no, it confirms exactly what she's been saying about him, that he crossed boundaries and was inappropriate. Now, it was left at 2 o'clock in the morning, this 7-minute message. Worth noting that it actually was a voice note, and that is different to a voicemail, because a voicemail, you ring someone, the phone rings and you don't answer, it goes to voicemail. So it would seem the intention wasn't to wake her up, but he's sending it at his convenience and she could listen to it at her convenience. But some people still think it's downright creepy. So March 9 of next year.
Okay. Hey, Pete, I've got a really busy year. Will you remind me before then?
I will. Oh, but don't worry, we'll be talking about it a whole lot more between now and then.
But isn't it interesting, like for those two, that they've now just got to live through this for a next...
Yeah.
And that's before it even begins.
Yeah.
Gee, very messy. An iconic duo has reunited for a new project. What's that?
Yeah, so they are back. The boys of Little Britain are getting back together. Now, David Walliams has been a guest on this program many times, Matt Lucas also on the show, and they've been off busy doing their own things for many years. It was 22, 23 years ago that Little Britain first hit, and they have both said, it's like the inevitable question they get asked, would you do Little Britain again? And they both have really said, I don't think we'd get away with it. Well, they are back together. This is a brand new project, though. It's a podcast. Yes, another podcast out there in the marketplace. And these two, of course, have a different premise for how they're going to do it. They've dropped a trailer today, so take a look at this. So the premise seems to be that these celebrities will be kind of pretending they are in movies. They've got a concept, so we'll be listening, and it sounds like quite a commitment to be dropping a new one every week, so looking forward to the two of them together.
Yeah, that'll be fun. This year's season of The Voice is set to have a stellar new lineup, Pete.
It is stellar, that's for sure. And returning this year, Kate Miller-Heidke, who was sensational last year. She is such a uniquely gifted performer, and she's notched up a lot of years now in the industry. So I think she was a huge asset for the show last year. But joining her, Mel C, of course, Sporty Spice, been here many times, brilliant voice. Richard Marx. Now he's a great songwriter, of course, as a performer. So that's a new thing to bring to the table. Been touring here recently with Tina Arena, and Ronan Keating, who spends a lot of time in Australia these days and will be spending a lot more this year because of his involvement in The Voice.
Ooh, awkward, Kylie, awkward.
Why is that awkward?
Well, because Ronan Keating used to be, our favourite Irishman, our favourite... And then Ronan left the network for whatever reason, and then Colin Fassnich steps... And it's like, our favourite... Now you've got to go back to...
Back to the original.
Yeah, this is going to... I can't wait to see how you manage this.
Oh, it'll be smooth.
Wait. No, I'm not sure it will.
It'll be smooth. An unlikely pair performed together on stage last night.
Yeah, I mentioned to you about Gus Worland got up at the first show of Hugh Jackman's run at Radio City Musical, but he kind of just stayed in the audience. Hugh went down to him in the audience. Well, he'd been to another show. This time he got up on stage, and Hugh and Gus, who, of course, go back to being school kid friends, and they're still great mates, and certainly Gus let out his inner Sinatra with Hugh. Have a look at this. And Hugh himself actually sourced that vision and has put it up onto his social media. So clearly it's a fun moment that he's very proud of too.
Yeah, and for people who don't understand that relationship, as you said, they've been best mates since primary school.
Yeah.
And Gus, regular on this show here, it is one of the most beautiful friendships ever. You know, so
Gus well known in radio circles. So
and now a singer. Thank you, Pete.
He can actually belt out a tune. He's not too bad.
He can. Thanks, Pete.